What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum. We're going to go over the Ethereum ETFs that have been listed today. Not today, over the past 3 days. I actually want to, let's go here, ETH ETF listings. Let's see. The SEC approved. Yes, they approved it, but is there any ETF? Yes, there are. There's like 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, we have the most actively traded one was the Grayscale Ethereum Trust, ETH. It opened up 3 days ago, where these other 2 opened up 2 days ago. So there's 3 Ethereum ETFs right now. Of course, having 1 day extra and also opening up first, being the first ETF, you're probably going to get the most volume there. Fidelity with 137. iShares with 245 million, Grayscale with nearly double, more than both of them combined. So it's definitely impressive for Grayscale. I don't know why, but I haven't seen anybody talk about this. I saw Coin Bureau talked about the Ethereum ETFs, but I just figured I'd make a video because no one else is talking about it. Why not? I don't normally like talking about things that everybody else talks about because I am such a small account. Most people are going to see the bigger accounts videos, so what's the point in weighing in? I mean, I weigh in on stuff like that, but I don't make it the main purpose of a video. But since nobody's talking about it, let's go, man. Let's talk about it. So we've only had 1 crypto ETF being approved and been listed before Ethereum, and that was Bitcoin. Right? We go to BTC, USD here. And I've actually gone over this in my past couple videos, but we're going to go over it again in this one because it's very relevant. Right? The Bitcoin ETF got listed on maybe this day, or not listed, approved on this day, or maybe it was this day, went up on the approval, and then once it got listed was this day here, and then we saw an immediate downturn. We moved down for 12 days, and I think we moved down 26% from a high to a low, moved down 21.6% over a 12-day period. Now, this was not the end of the world, right? It did not end the world, but it did cause a little bit of a dump before the pump. And that's kind of how it is most of the time, right? Like right before you start moving up, you're moving up into your pump here, but you get that one last little dump and then boom, then you move up, right? Just like before you, let's see, I mean, I guess here, right? Last little dump and then you pumped. Just like before you dump, you get your last little pump and then you dump. And I guess that's pretty obvious to say. You're going to have a high before you move lower. You're going to have a low before you move higher. But I think that's exactly what Ethereum's going through now, is it's having its last little dump before having a pump. I don't know if it'll be a lower low. This low here was a lower low based on your consolidation phase. But to be fair, Bitcoin at this point in time had actually been at relative highs in its trend, right? It had been at relative highs. If we look at Ethereum, it's kind of different circumstances. Or maybe not, actually. Maybe not. It is at relative highs in this trend, but overall in this consolidation phase, it's actually kind of at a lower high, right? Where Bitcoin itself was at higher highs in its overall trend. That's in this consolidation phase, it was at its high, and that much is similar here. But to me, it's kind of a different dynamic. Ethereum's dropped a lot. It's already consolidated a lot. Bitcoin was at the high point of its consolidation, literally, of this like whole move. It was like the yearly highs, the bull cycle highs at that point in time. Ethereum's not at its bull cycle highs, so we might get different results. But nevertheless, what I'm trying to say is I would expect that we do see the price continue to drop for Ethereum. This could encourage the rest of the market to drop alongside with it. From a low point to a high point, we have crashed through the 382, and we are interacting with the 0.5. With the way this looks so far, I would very much expect at a minimum that Ethereum interacts with this $3,000 level, and that makes sense. It's the golden ratio zone. It's the 618, right? The golden ratio, 6.9. I don't know what that noise was. I don't know if you guys could hear it, but it sounded like something loud. Anyways, 3,076, 3,024. It's a nice psychological area to find support on, that $3,000 zone. We could move a little bit lower as well. Your 786 is right here at just below 3K as well. So, anywhere and everywhere, I'd say around like 3K is fair game, but I do think you're going to move a little bit lower. The daily RSI did have a nice little double top in this overbought zone, not actually in it, but just below it. The 4-hour RSI looks pretty sad, pretty bad. You're in the oversold zone right now. And ideally, yes, you want to buy in the oversold zone, but let's just see here. Like I guess here, as soon as you got in the oversold zone, it would have been this candle here. If you bought as soon as you got in the oversold zone, you would have missed out on like the actual lows. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles later, you moved up and then inevitably moved lower. Here, you got in the oversold zone right here. If you bought right in there, or as soon as you even like went up to your oversold zone area, as if you're getting out of it, if you bought there, you would have missed this whole crash and a beautiful buying opportunity. We have seen a big crash already. This could be one of those times where we actually do just reverse right out of it. But the main point that I'm trying to address here is that we've only been in this oversold zone for a very short amount of time, right? Let's see, for technically this candle only. Technically this candle only, yeah, because the last candle was technically right at the oversold zone. This candle here, the opening candle of the day, which closes in 45 minutes, is the first candle in the oversold zone. So it wouldn't surprise me if we went a little bit lower based on that metric alone. We absolutely could bounce from here, but being that we also have increased volume as we're moving down, it would suggest that we go lower as well. And then again, the ETF being approved, classic buy the hype, sell the news event. It would just make sense to go down to about 3,076 to 3,024. Now, after that, I would think that like Bitcoin, we would see our next phase up, okay? And the bright side about this is I don't think this ETF listing is going to send us to new lows on this range. Maybe it does. It's possible. Maybe it does. But I don't think it will. I think that we'll have a higher low, which means that I can take this high here to this low, at least hopefully. If not, maybe I have to measure from the new low down over here. I don't know. But from that high to this low, the minimum expectation for Ethereum to grow after it's done with this drop would be $4,500 at the 1272. The maximum expectation would be $5,161. And you absolutely could move beyond that. If we look at Ethereum and how it's grown so far this cycle, if we kind of compare it to what we've seen already, from its relative high here to its relative low, you went above your 1414, just above it. That's actually a very common, I've addressed this a bunch over the past couple months, like not topping off right at your 1414, but just above it, in between the 1618 and the 1414. That seems to be a very common thing. You can see you found significance on the 1414 twice after. Moving back to your 786, 886 zone, that's pretty common itself. Normally you'd look to find support in your 886, 100 area, but this is fine too. It's common enough that happens. But the main thing I'm addressing is where you saw your move extend to. From this high to this low, a little bit longer of a phase drawn out. You went all the way up to your 2886, where you kind of found a double top, holding support on your 1886. That's beautiful. And you generally do see this kind of relationship where you'll go, like if you found resistance at your 2618, you'd probably go down to your 1618 to find support, but you found it at your 2886 and you came down to your 1886, 1886, 2886, right? And you're moving down now. Look at that, at the 200, that's right at 3,000. So just in that area itself, the 200 itself is not a fib level. It's just a level that I have on there because I've actually noticed a few cryptos finding significance on that level. Ethereum, clearly not, but it's beside the point. So we've got anything from a 1414 to a 2886 being on the table. To be completely fair, this was a bit more of a dramatic drop than this was. This is a bit more tame. With dramatic drops, you tend to see normal extensions. With more tame drops, you see deeper extensions being hit. This to me does seem a bit more tame as well. So deeper extensions could be on the table at a minimum. I think we could expect to see actually, the formal definition before anybody's like, I thought you said the minimum was here at 4,500. The formal definition of the extensions, like the expected area would be the 1272 to the 1618, in which case, yes, the minimum would be here. But based off of the behavior, that's why I did this whole part, right? Based off the behavior that we've seen Ethereum do over this cycle so far, I think it's acceptable to actually say 4,780, about 4,800 to 8,030 or 8,300 could be on the table. I would feel more comfortable saying that neither of those numbers are actually going to be hit or like our stopping points, but somewhere in between. I like the idea of the 1618 to the 2272 personally, somewhere between about $5,000 and $6.6 thousand. That's my personal expectation on this next move up. How long does it take to get there? I don't know. It could take till the end of October if it's drawn, if it happens the way that I have it drawn. It could move up to its 1618, pull back to its 1272, move up like this, kind of stair stepping, taking its sweet time, and then by the end of the year we're up in this area, you know, and then maybe we pull back again, and then we continue to move up, and sometime next year we're all the way up at this area. Who knows? Who knows how it's going to look? But I do think we're going to go higher, and the minimum expectation would be just shy of 5,000. The maximum would be just over 8,000. I personally am expecting something above 5,000, about 5,160 to about $6,600. That's my personal expectation, and it's all going to start when we find our low after this buy the hype, sell the news event that we've got. Right? We just had the ETF listing. As we did with Bitcoin, we are dropping right after that, and I would assume it's not going to be too long-lived that happens. We will probably see Ethereum recover quite wonderfully, but for the time being, I would expect it to go a little bit lower. That's my personal expectation. So I don't know if I have anything else I want to say. If you guys like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. There is some bullish divergence on the 15-minute. Don't be surprised if if you're watching this video within the next like 8 hours or something, or maybe even like a couple hours, if it pulls up a couple $100 or even just $100, it could go all the way back up to 3,300, the area that you found support here, and then reject from there, and then we go down, right? So just because I'm calling for it to go down, and then right after, I would actually expect that after I release this video, it moves up, right, based on this current trend on the 15-minute, which I don't normally look at, but it really could move up. Come on, man, why is it doing this? Move up, form another lower high in this like relative range, and then reject, and then go lower. That's kind of my thoughts. But based on the 4-hour, based on the daily, based off of what we saw with Bitcoin's ETF being approved and listed, I would expect that we go lower. And that's all I got to say. So take care, hit that like button. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.